Welcome back to Matthew Knight Arena. Big game, big doings today in Pac-12 women's basketball. The Ducks hosting the Huskies. Opening lineups look like this for both clubs. Looking at the Huskies, first of all, some of the usual suspects. Great to have Noble healthy again. Last year, the most overall in conference wins in her tenure, getting this program heading in the right direction. The Huskies coming in at 4-5, 1-5 in conference play, playing for the first time since early January in their road blacks. The Oregon Ducks at 10-3, 8-3 in conference play, having defeated Washington State at home Friday night, and we're underway. These two teams met earlier in Seattle in December. Oregon winning at 73-49. And an aggressive take right away by Sadler. What an impressive freshman she is.
Well, she came out to start her career and made everybody say, who is Tamia Sadler? She had the game-winning shot against San Diego State, and then had a huge game against BYU where she put up 23 points. So Tamia Sadler, the leading scorer for Washington, missed a couple of games due to injury, but is back and trying to continue her streak of really good performances.
Makes one of two. Defense so impressive for the Oregon Ducks this year. While the offense has been struggling a bit the last X amount of games, Pow Pow says, what about me? It's been the defense that has really had Kelly Graves saying, this is what it's going to take to win championships too.
Holding opponents to under 60 points per game. They're one of the best defensive teams in the Pac-12. They're known as that high-flying offense that can make threes and put big runs together, but it's really been their defense that has carried them for the past couple of weeks.
Shelley, look at that pass! But Quade Miller draws the charge before the pass and bucket. Wow!
And it's a crucial call going Washington's way because Quay Miller is one of the few players with the size to match up with this long Oregon lineup. She is 6'3". When you pick up an early one, Jody Wynn wants to give you a rest on the bench. They need her on that floor, so an aggressive move that paid off for Quay Miller.
Here's Noble, 10 on the shot clock. Brooks, an outside threat. Now there's only 4 on the shot clock for Sadler, and the turnover costly for the Dogs will go the other way, stepping out of bounds. Elise, quick question. So no Sabally, no Boley. We would have expected them both to start, obviously. So what does the offense look like for this Oregon Duck club?
Well, Kelly Graves has moved his lineups around all year long. And yesterday with Sedona Prince back starting for the first time since December 4th, she was in the middle of a lot of it, had 14 points. They went to her in the high post. I think that this group is versatile enough. Make the right read, make the right play.
Prince with that soft jump hook, impressive.
That's a good start for her. Went at the defense. Soft touch on that baby hook.
Big pick by Pow Pow. Chavez is going to leave it for Shelley. Walks into the 3. Brooks rips it down.
Injury timeout.
And an injury timeout.
Mia
Sadler down.
Before the season started, she was a point guard, and they also had another point guard, Grace Beasley, who had hip surgery. So the top 3 point guards for Washington were not able to play in that first game against Oregon, and now Sadler leaving and looks in an extreme amount of pain over there.
So on the floor now is Darcy Reese for Washington and Jess Finney. Let's get to know Jess Finney. This was a kid just a month ago playing high school hoops.
Well, and she's come in and just given minutes and a body for for Washington to be able to play. The ball in her hands right now. And welcome to Pac-12 basketball. Played in the mountains, looking for her first points, but Jody said she's a sponge. She's just trying to soak everything up. Did a ton of Zoom meetings to try to learn all the defenses that Washington plays, but an excellent shooter Had 96 made threes as a junior in the state of Arizona.
Brooks, and that's huge as she points up skyward in honor of her father. That's a big triple for the Dogs.
And her father, Sean Rooks, who Pac-12 basketball fans remember at Arizona.
Haley Van Dyke on the floor as well, trying to D up Dugalich. Good defense, and here comes Grigsby. Look at the cutting Van Dyke. Dugalich, single coverage. Good D by the youngster.
Just stayed with Haley Van Dyke, did not reach. Is bigger by about 4 inches, and her size was a factor.
Oregon aggressively hitting the offensive glass.
Foul by the charge of Huskies. Foul Alexis Grigsby. Her first foul, first team foul.
Kayla Rooks, the senior, the leader of this Washington squad, leads the team in assists, and that time calling her own number. Washington made a season-high 12 threes against BYU in one of their best wins of the season. They might need that kind of production from the three-point line to pull off the upset against Oregon. Number 13 in the nation, number 4 in the net rankings, though.
Dugalich on the weak side, pulls the trigger on the jumper, and here comes Washington on the miss. Pow Pow. Great effort by the freshman. Stepped out of bounds trying to save it. You see how clever and crafty Pow Pow was just on that play alone, kind of walking you to sleep a little bit, and then boom, pounces.
Playing like a safety in football, reading the passing lane and stepping in front, nearly a steal. A good hustle play as she ran into the bleachers on the attempt.
Kenny, again signing with Washington back in November and saying, heck, with COVID, my high school season shut down, to play. Chavez cut off at the pass and bounces the ball off herself, so it'll be Washington's ball. Remember, it was a very ugly start to the ball game on Friday with Washington State in town. 12-2 early. Washington State leading the Ducks, and it was a second half of offense and defense entirely for U of O that told the tale.
Number 3 on Oregon.
Well, I think for Oregon, they're trying to find themselves, and you remember when Sabrina Ionescu, Ruthie Hebard, when that crew was freshmen, they were 8-10 in conference play, and then they found themselves clicked in, realized what was their best option, and then they made it to the Elite Eight. I think this offense for Oregon is still trying to find their way, and Washington finding their way from the three-point line. Another one for the Dogs as they take the lead.
So Van Dyke, who has been under the weather with a virus, comes off the bench, just excited to get in, and hits a huge triple to give UW the lead 7-5.
Yeah, a virus, but not the virus.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I hear you. Thank you for that. 7-7. Kind of a flu cold-like thing for Van Dyke. 7 apiece. Thought maybe Noble would take it to the rack. Instead, gives it up for Finney. Trying to wrap around. Nice take by the youngster. And here comes Pow Pow. Behind the back. Extra pass. Dugalich didn't want it. Really smart play by Dugalich to find Shelley. But that three-pointer is off. Van Dyke coming off the bench for UW. Instant impact, all alone in that short corner for the three-pointer. And Sedona Prince, they're going to ride her today, that's for sure. Back and forth we go, all tied up. At-large berths come true, now replaced by the net rankings.
Yeah, this is the first year that the NCAA Women's Basketball Committee will use the net rankings. And basically, to boil it all down, it's your offensive efficiency minus your defensive efficiency. And for Oregon, what they've been able to do on both sides of the basketball, they're all the way up at number 4, which is very impressive and will go a long way. If you just went by those net rankings like it was RPI, they'd get a number 1 seed. Other factors are considered, there's no doubt, but that's a huge feather in the cap for the Oregon Ducks with this young squad.
And a banged up squad right now, again missing 2 starters. Sabally and Boley due to respective injuries. Meitzel on the floor now, missing Giomi with her with the offensive stick. And how about Parrish? How big was she in game 1 against this Washington club? Had 18 in Seattle and cans that triple.
Earned the Pac-12 Freshman of the Week after that performance. And Oregon off the offensive board and kick out for the 3. It is a big part of their offense.
Shear on the floor as well. Giomi running the floor and nobody catching up, wearing Washington gear, and that's a quick timeout for Jody Wynn.
And Kelly Graves, what a bonus. He brings in.
Had a huge 3 that really propelled this Oregon Duck club to a gritty win against the Cougars. She's not afraid to pull the trigger.
No, and Kelly says, he said recently that she's just a pure shooter, and he has confidence in her. And when you see on those kickouts off the offensive boards, Oregon has that length, 6'6" and 6'7" on the inside right now on the floor for the Ducks. They get those offensive boards. Yes, they can go up, but even bigger is when they kick it out for those wide open threes.
Quay double team, throws it away. Should mention Sadler back on the floor for the Washington Huskies. That's good news. Oregon looking to extend that lead. Meitzel. Prince with that soft touch, hesitated for just a second, but Meitzel unselfish, continuing to look for open teammates.
Sedona Prince at 6'7", hitting the seam in the zone and able to rise and fire over the top of the defense. That is an unstoppable weapon for Oregon's offense.
So Prince with 6 points already. Again, coming off that monster game in a starting role against Washington State on Friday. Parrish, another 3. Oh, baby!
And watch out. You knew for Oregon's offense, it was like kindling, right? You got to get that kindling to get that big fire started, and it just kept getting damp kindling. But right now, they look in a groove.
You know, usually it's Boley that torches this UW club. She has had some great games, career games against the Huskies. And Parrish picking up where Boley, injured, not playing, left off. Van Dyke hesitates, back rim and off. Prince going up against her own teammate, and the ball knocked free. Quay can't get it down, still batted around, into Grigsby, batted by Prince. No foul called, and here comes Parrish, hitting Giomi again. We'll go the other way. One too many steps. That was wild as Reese checks back in.
Well, Quay Miller working hard. She can't believe that one of these shots does not go in, but the block here by Sedona Prince coming out of nowhere. Grigsby thinks she's got an open look 2 feet from the hoop. Instead, it's swatted away. And Giomi on her horse trying to get the lay-in, shuffle her feet. But this Oregon squad with their length, even with the injuries right now to Niara Sabali at 6'5" and Kylie Watson at 6'4", they still have so much more length than the Huskies.
Dogs need a bucket, no doubt about it. Prince on the bench, Dugalich back in for U of O. Inside look, one extra pass, looked like it went off Reese, and it did.
Haley Van Dyke trying to thread the needle over to Darcy Reese. Might just need to go up with that. It's a tough catch for a big in traffic. And against this Oregon Duck squad, when you get a little daylight, you just may have to take it.
10-0 Oregon run. Meitzel thought about the 3. Interesting as Meitzel coming off the bench the last 2 games, starting every game until a couple ago, and now off the bench for Oregon.
Well, and what a lift that she and this bench have given Kelly Graves. A 12-0 run since
Is it 12-0?
12-0 run since they have stepped foot on this floor.
That's good math. Don't ever trust mine. I'm going with you each and every time. Speaking of kindling, my math is just a bonfire of errors. So keep checking me.
You're just burning up over
I'm telling you. Okay, 45 left to go in this opening quarter. I'll leave the math to my partner.
My dad was an accountant, but I didn't really inherit much of that talent.
I like the take by Noble. Sadler aggressive. And Parrish thought she might have had all ball, but instead the foul will go against the freshman out of Indiana.
And Jody Wynn, first it's great, as you mentioned, that Sadler is back on the floor because this Husky team cannot afford to lose any players after being out for 3 weeks. They need every healthy body and all the minutes that they can get. So it's good to see her back on the floor. They need her to be offensive-minded. She was not a big offensive scorer in her AAU play. She played for the Cal Stars. She played with Cameron Brink, and she played with some absolute studs that want to shoot the ball and score the ball. And she loves to distribute. She's good defensively. She's got good instincts. But don't fool yourself. She can score. She is the Huskies' leading scorer. But sometimes I think she may have to call her own number more and be a little bit more selfish and get in that lane to put pressure on the D.
Knocked away. Look at Sadler's fake. On cue, Elise Woodward. There, she was aggressive there.
And that is when she's at her best, when she's got some space in the open floor, off turnovers, faking it, getting Dugalich to bite just enough to get the angle to put it off the window.
Prince back on the floor as that foul goes against Noble. You know, she has that game winner against SDSU, as we talked about. Consecutive 20-point games after that. So you know it's there. And I'm talking about Sadler.
Jody Wynn, the real staple of Jody Wynn's program is mixing up the defenses, applying pressure, trying to force turnovers just like that. Surprising Mikesell on the trap, and she didn't really have anywhere to go. They shut the trap, she didn't have an angle, and she went to her feet. Can she do that with such a limited bench? She is the one that even before COVID times would go hockey style and just put in 5 in, 5 out. She doesn't have that luxury, just 9 healthy bodies. How long can they continue to extend that pressure?
Final seconds of the opening quarter. Sadler blocked. And that'll do it. Nice burst by the second unit. Wearing Oregon gear, resulting in the 17-10 lead for the...
But she doesn't really need to at 6'7". She can get that shot over the top of a zone just about any time. So it becomes, do you deny her the basketball? Do you try to push her off the block? Well, she still turns around from 15 feet and puts it right in your eye. She is an absolute weapon, and Kelly Graves said she didn't get to play for about 3 weeks, and he said, we need her healthy if we want to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. And this is a big development for Oregon that she was able to play 27 minutes and her leg still feels okay to come back 2 days later and now start and have a big impact here early.
I'm with you on the minute count, too, and quality minutes. Sadler loses the handle into Grigsby. 3 on the shot clock, and Washington gives it up. Running the floor, Giomi again. And you know what's interesting? When you talk to Kelly Graves, he'll tell you, sprint to sprint, end line to end line, Giomi wins most of the races.
Well, we've seen her, and even though she is 6'6", she moves as well as anybody, and that long stride getting out in front of the Husky D.
Van Dyke didn't wait for a second to pull the trigger there. Defense didn't react. 19-12. Giomi at 6'6", running the floor like crazy. That long stride, as you mentioned. Prince again showing you the mid-range killer strike.
And that's a reverse pivot over the top of 6'4" Darcy Reese. It's unstoppable.
Prince now leading everybody with 8 points. Washington just trying to counter with the basket of their own. Air ball. All alone is Mikesell. Wild pass. Trying to save it and does. Giomi with the hustle play. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Parrish, another 3. Giomi, she'll go to the line. How good has Giomi been off the bench for Kelly Graves?
Well, and you just look at her size advantage down low at 6'6". Haley Van Dyke is playing the 4 right now for Washington, and she is 6 feet. She's got a good vertical. She just is outmatched in terms of the height. That's 6 inches, and even if you try to box out, Giomi goes over the top. Van Dyke picking up that foul, and so Quay Miller will be back on the floor at 6'3", to try to provide some of that height.
So Giomi, the redshirt senior out of Seattle, misses the first one.
Jiomi's been here 5 years, came in with Sabrina Ionescu in that recruiting class and redshirted.
Freshman year, I believe, with that broken wrist.
And is here, and this year when you watch her on the floor, she's just so fundamentally sound, and she really works hard. Deserves every single minute that she gets on this talented Oregon squad.
Graves talks a lot about the leadership of Boley and Giomi.
Well, when you watch Giomi too, she does all the little things right. You see her, she sets the right screen angle, she knows how to roll, she's in the right spot defensively, she runs the floor hard.
Huskies need a stop. Prince, free throw line. Oh my goodness, and she'll just bring you out defensively. If you leave her alone, she will hurt you.
She is absolutely on fire right now. 5 for 5, 10 points, 4 boards. Double figures is above her season average already, and we're 7.5 minutes in the second quarter to go.
Miller with the three-pointer. Tough luck there. Meixel with the board. Prince started her scoring with a little hook and then has been hitting jumper after jumper.
I don't know why she didn't pull that trigger.
Meixel back rimming off. I think everybody expected her to take that shot. Miller running the floor. Prince playing the defense, forcing a wild shot, and the ball belongs to the Ducks.
Well, and there is no question that she altered that shot of Quay Miller. That's just turned fire over the top. She is in a groove.
And Chavez comes back onto the floor, as does Shelley. Shelley with the 2 fouls. And I think Quay Miller thought she had a wide open look at the cup. And at the last second, Prince did a great job of seeing that there was too much real estate for Quay Miller. Close the door.
Remember, Sedona Prince, 6'7".
Chavez, extra pass, Pau Pau. Inside look, Giomi. What a pass by Pau Pau.
That's what Kelly Graves wants to see. That is how you execute the offense. The ball movement, quick passing, inside, outside, eventually wide open underneath was Giomi.
7 points now for Giomi off the bench. And here comes Oregon again. Giomi scoreless against Arizona and Washington State. Comes up with 7 big ones at this point.
Mismatch down low, Sadler.
Boy, I'll say, Sadler trying to guard Giomi. Find her. There it is. Wild pass by Prince, and here comes Sadler. Blocked by Prince, but she'll go to the line. Let's see who that foul was on. Sadler on both ends, Elise Woodward.
Getting down low, the mismatch, it is a 10-inch height advantage, and Sadler not giving up on that play, refused to get sealed underneath defensively, and comes up with the steal. And I love the aggressiveness in the open floor. Again, she went right at the much bigger defense to pick up that foul and head to the line, and she is an outstanding foul shooter, over 90%.
Bench on its feet for Oregon as Giomi comes out, Dugalich back in, Noble coming back onto the floor for the Washington Huskies. Pau Pau, by the way, picks up her 2nd foul as Sadler aggressively going to the cup, but she misses that first free throw, and as she's cranky with herself, she's a good free throw shooter.
Well, she should be, because she's missed 3 already today. She's 2 of 5. She came in shooting 90%, and when you're a good free throw shooter, you just are like, what is going on? Let's go. You can see clapping her hands together after the first miss, and then composed enough to make the second.
Comes a little heat. Ducks break it. Plenty of time on the shot clock for Pau Pau. Dugalich finding that seam. Now they finally find her.
And Sadler down low on Prince again.
You'd think right away inside as Reese tried to play a little help defense, enough to force a miss from Prince, and here comes Sadler. Good help by Reese. Wide open inside Miller. So interesting, Elise, as Miller had single coverage and a lot of room, waited for the double coverage, and then traveled.
And that's one area of her game that Jody Wynn said that Quay Miller's working really hard on, is establishing that pivot foot down low. She's got all the athleticism that you want, and it's just about taking her time. Be quick, don't hurry. That time taking a poke in the eye. No call. Sedona Prince saying, hey, you all right? Quay's like, it's good. We should rather have that travel call back, though, and another crack at it.
Van Dyke back onto the floor for Washington. Nia Lowry for the first time in the game for the Dogs. Cutting Prince. Wild shot. Reese comes up with it, looking for some help.
The first miss of the game the second miss
yep.
for Sedona Prince and the last time down. So 5-7.
Miller, she turns into that help defense and almost turns it over. 9 on the shot clock. Cutting Van Dyke, extra pass. Reese loves it there. Wild shot. Normally Reese will hit it from there. And to beat the shot clock, well done. Nia Lowry knew exactly what was happening with that shot clock.
Well, they got the shot that they wanted because the defense was forced to move. And even though Darcy Reese missed, the defense out of alignment enabled Lowry to get that offensive board.
Turning around is Dugalich. And Reese actually had a great look at that shot. And she would take that in a second if it's afforded her.
Foul play charge the Ducks. Sedona Prince. Her first foul of the game. Second team
Prince
foul of the quarter.
with her first foul.
Mike Sill.
Team second.
Oregon. Number 21, Jeff Finney.
It's just a great hustle play by the redshirt freshman. Sit-down interview with Larry Scott. Check in on other scores from around the conference. Highlights and stats from the first half. Right now, we've got 4:07 left to go in the second quarter here at Matt Knight Arena. 13th ranked Oregon leading Washington 26-15. If you look at Washington's field goal percentage, Elise, you'd think they'd be down by 30.
Oregon's defense has done a phenomenal job. Washington 5 for 25 from the field, and I think there's been numerous times where they feel like they're open, and then the window just shuts right on their fingers, and that length, 6'4", 6'6", 6'7", of the front line for Oregon has really had an effect in this game, and all season long. They are one of the best defensive teams in this conference.
Giomi back on the floor. Speaking of length, Miller pauses. I thought she got bumped a little bit, but that shot definitely altered, and here comes Pow Pow. The depth of the Oregon Ducks. Pow Pow dumps it, throws it away. Tried the little float pass over the top. Quay Miller and company responding nicely. Cutting Van Dyke. There's the extra pass. Finney gets her feet set. Finney. And there it is. That's got to feel good. Her first collegiate basket for UW.
A tough make, too, for the freshman. Should be a senior in high school. Instead, coming early after graduating from her Arizona high school.
Finney, known as an outside shooter, showed you why. Sadler to the cutting Quay Miller. Love the idea, but the ball is whistled dead. Foul's going to go against Mikesel.
Haley Van Dyke on the baseline, kicking it out. The shot fake, resets, gets a good look at the hoop, and knocks it down. Finney, as we mentioned, from Scottsdale, Arizona, and graduated early. Her first 2 games, 0 of 8, just trying to get, just thrown into the fire of Pac-12 play. It was great to see her get on the board.
Yeah, excuse me for interrupting. It was great to see her get on the board. And tip of the cap to Van Dyke, who got that first shot rejected, stayed with the play, and got the second try home. 26-20, 2-possession lead for the Oregon Ducks. And credit Washington for hanging around, Elise.
An 8-0 run by the Dogs over the last 3 minutes and change.
You're doing the math, not me, remember? Mikesel just has been cold and just kind of laying in the weeds as Dugalich on that weak side for the putback.
That is it's such a big part of the Oregon offense. And it's not just those that Dugalich at 6'4", as you mentioned, just kind of waiting there, weak side glass, it's going to come off. I think that Washington had been on a really nice run, and I think for Kelly, it's a good momentum stopper. Bring him over in the huddle, 2.5 minutes to go here at home, and pushing this lead. Championship teams end quarters and halves with a strong run. And we'll see an 8-point Oregon lead where we are at halftime, and he might have adjusted his defense as well.
Oregon in that zone again, mixing up the defenses nicely. Here's Sadler trying to find room. The travel will go the other way. Sadler doesn't like the call. You see the explosive step, but Missy Peterson said, or excuse me, Melissa Barlow says, you walked with it.
And I love Melissa Barlow, the official, actually showing to Mia Sadler what
with
she
the footwork.
did.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
It was a jump stop and then another step.
That was great. Dugalich almost walked. That foul is going to go against Quay Miller.
Just the first personal on Quay Miller, and for this Husky squad, they cannot afford to get into any kind of foul trouble, and that is one area they've been good in this first half. Just 4 personal fouls, nobody with more than 1.
You're reading my mind, especially with Quay Miller. She has got to stay on the floor. And there she is disrupting. Great hustle play by Sadler. Dogs have it, and here comes the youngster. Terrific job by Quay Miller. High pick. She wants it on the roll as Pau was guarding her. They want the mismatch to the Dogs. Now Prince is there for help. Extra pass. Sadler pulls the trigger. You bet. Good execution by the Dogs.
Inside, outside, flipping the court, the ball going all over the place and leaving the wide open Sadler.
Another weak side rebound and putback for Dugalich.
And that is just an area that Washington is going to be outmatched on some possessions due to the height. And give Dugalich credit, just in the right place, at the right time, and hungry for the offensive board.
You bet. Dugalich with 4 points now. Darcy Reese again buttering the bread with that 3-point opportunity. She was huge in game 1, yet to find the bottom of the bucket via the 3 today. Inside look, quickly, right back to Shear. Dugalich, another board. "14-second differential between shot and game clock. Prince lands awkwardly as Finney got her.
Play charge number 21.
Angela Dugalich already with 6 rebounds in this game, and I don't have it broken down in front of me, but at least 3 on the offensive glass, maybe 4. And when you are an offensive player and you miss a shot, you feel that you let your teammates down. But when your teammate is there to clean up your mess that you created by missing the shot, it is such a sense of relief and gratitude to be like, oh, thanks, man. I don't look bad anymore. We still got points on the board, so thank you. Every shooter loves a player that will clean up their mess.
Prince with a couple of tosses. What a first half Sedona Prince has had. Final possession, perhaps, of this half. We'll see. Shot clock off, game clock at 12 for Sadler. Here's Reese, up top where you would expect her. Finney with 4. Nice job by Finney. Whacking it off the glass. Parrish, good if it goes. Had a look. So no Boley, no Sabally, no Watson for the Oregon Ducks, and yet an entire team effort, Elise Wood. All kinds of cutouts here at Matt Knight Arena. I like the 4-legged ones. 13th ranked Oregon leading the Washington Huskies 32-23, third quarter underway. Ducks with the ball with the lead. Look at the high hedge by Quay, getting back to play the defense. Washington chasing defensively. Pau, extra pass. Dugalich didn't want it. Here's Pau, mid-range, you bet.
Well, that's how you move the ball. It went from the top of the key to the right baseline, skip pass over to the other side, and then an open look for Pau.
Husky defense just a step short as Pau found the seam. Miller looking underneath, tag team, Prince with another rejection. Here comes Pau. Has Sadler to beat. Quick hands by Sadler. But here's Shelley. Pau. I like that back. Dugalich again. Another offensive board, and this time the stick back.
And Dugulich with half dozen points, 7 boards, and just continues to sit there and wait. All right, you guys keep shooting. I'll be here to be the one to score it.
Dugulich doing some blue-collar work on the boards. There she is battling with Quay Miller. Ball goes off of the sophomore out of Washington, and it'll be Oregon's ball. This is a crucial time for the Washington Huskies, I think, Elise, if they want to feel like they've got a chance in this one.
Well, they held tight with the starting unit in the first quarter, and then when Oregon went to the bench at about the 5-minute mark, they went on a big run. Washington has to keep this close. It's already 13. It's starting to get stretched out. And Haley Van Dyke coming off the bench for a spark for Jody Wynn. Just didn't have a lot of practice time. We mentioned even with the COVID issue, she was unable to go for quite some time. Only has 2 practices, but is the Huskies' second leading scorer, and Jody Wynn knows she's going to have to play some minutes here today.
Grigsby, who picked up her second foul a few moments ago. Now it's Sedona Prince, who goes into 3 dark jersey defenders and gets clobbered.
She's probably thinking it was a lot easier just to pull jumpers from 15 feet than to hit the deck.
Noble picks up her second. 2 quick team fouls on the Huskies. 36-23. Again, the Washington Huskies playing for the first time since early January. 5 games postponed or canceled due to COVID. Good tag team defense by the Dogs. Possession arrow favoring Washington.
That was 2 scramble. It was scramble mode, and well done by Washington to close that, get a hand on the ball of Dugulich, because Nia Lowry was guarding Sedona Prince underneath, and if they were able to see her, it would have been trouble.
Miller, guarded by Chavez. Grigsby. All right, we know what Grigsby did her sophomore season when she had the weekend of her career against Oregon and Oregon State with all those triples and splashes one home here.
6 3-point makes as a sophomore, 26 points, a career high on this floor. She was warming up. I said, what do you think about this gym? She said, I like it.
I like it here. I remember against the Ducks way back then as the whistle will blow play dead. After one of her threes, she just looked over at the Oregon bench, gave him the big meat. She was feeling it.
And this is good, quick passing. The defense not time to react, out to the corner in that zone, and Grigsby getting enough space to let it fly.
Noble will take a seat. She just picked up her 3rd personal foul.
It's tough to get those looks against the Oregon defense. They only allow 24% 3-point shooting on the season, which is number 1 in the Pac-12 conference. I think part of that is their length and the defense they play, but each and every 3-point make, you feel like it's a trophy if you're an opponent against this tough D.
Grigsby picks up her 3rd personal. Fouls mounting up against the Huskies, and we're early in this 3rd quarter.
2 Huskies now, Noble and Grigsby.
Chavez pulls up, didn't want to go up against Quay Miller. Prince with another offensive rebound. The cutting Dugulich, bodies flying, and the travel will stop play and will go the other way. Oregon just getting after it on the offensive glass.
And the second chance points for Oregon, 12. They've been in double digits with second chance points. So many times this season, it is just really hard to keep them off the glass with that size. One of the biggest teams in the nation, and then able to do something with it. It's one thing to be tall, but then to be able to apply that in offensive rebounding is a big weapon.
Pow on the run, stepping into the 3-pointer is Shelley. Boy, you knew she was going to pull the trigger, stepped right into it.
Well, Jess Shelley has played a lot of the point guards, setting each of her teammates up. That time on the floor with Pow able to stand and wait and get fed.
Prince from behind with the rejection. Dugulich forces the travel. A great interior defense sequence for the Oregon Ducks. First Prince, then Dugulich, using that length.
And it takes 3 points off the board for the Huskies. They thought that they were able to get that 3 off, but the travel called.
Finney back on the floor for the Huskies. 39-26. The Oregon Ducks extending that lead. They want to put the hammer down. Pow. So clever with the ball. Wheels, deals. Prince trying for the putback. Instead, the ball comes to Finney. Every minute this kid gets is just huge for her. Ball tipped away.
And again, the length, the deflection of Dugalich. You think it's open, and then all of a sudden the window closes so quickly, and that ball tapped out of bounds. Quay Miller thought she was going to be open, potentially get a lay-in, but nope. Instead, the defense gets set, and Washington taking it out of bounds.
Let's see if the Huskies can just keep hanging around. Crispy, ball on the deck, now backs it out. There's the roll with Darcy. Reese gobbled up by Giomi, looking for some help and throws it right to Shelley. Here comes Oregon. Dugalich running the floor, as does Giomi. You just gotta love the bigs picking them up and putting them down.
Jaz Shelley with the look-off pass. The defense did not even know that was delivered.
Reese, nice reaction and putback for the Huskies, who desperately needed that bucket. Pow quickly, though, on the other end. And I like the body control there for Pow, getting into the lane and not having to jump stop and then shoot it. Could have potentially got blocked. It was all in one motion, getting rid of that shot off the glass before the defense could react. Here's Van Dyke squaring up. Good stick by Van Dyke.
That's good to see her get her confidence shooting. Had a lot of pressure on her shoulders when this season started. No Missy Peterson. Obviously Amber Melgoza no longer on the team, the big-time scorer, and so she was the leading returning scorer for this Washington team, and took her a while to get going, but now she's shooting the ball much better. And look at this Jaz Shelley looking at Dugalich and Quay Miller going with that look-off. It's such a small detail that so many guards forget. Your eyes usually tell you where you're going to pass it, and the defense will react. Just well done by Shelley.
And Giomi knowing she was going to get that ball. Dugalich saying, oh, I guess I got another step. I'll take it in there.
Good post-entry pass, something that Kelly Graves worked on after their game against Washington State.
That's a great point as the ball goes off of Reese. The post-entry passes against Washington State for the Oregon Ducks, not very good. The rest of the defense really mopped up. Today, both ends of the ball.
You're watching Pac-12 Washington, home of the Washington State.
It makes it so much fun when you get out in front. She's got 9 points, 4 of 4 shooting, and 5 boards does Giomi. And hey, you work hard, and then you get fed the basketball. That is a lot of fun.
You know, Giomi with that sensational double-double for her against Seattle to open the season with 15 and 13, her first career double-double. She hasn't had any double-figure games since then. She's knocking at the door today, getting some great quality minutes.
Well, Kelly Graves has confidence in her. Niara Sabali has Pow with a big-time make there. The bench coming off and celebrating. No Niara Sabali, the Ducks' leading scorer, not able to go today with an ankle injury. So other big players have to step up in the absence, and Giomi certainly is doing that, and so is Dugalich.
Aaron Boley unable to go as well. Look at the block. And great job by Sadler to just stay calm and find Darcy Reese after she was rejected.
Got inside, and the defense closing in on her. She is just 5'8". Instead, kicks it over to Reese at 6'4" and says, here, you take it.
Look at Sadler hounding Dugalich, and now she's going to move over. Tips it off of Shelley. Nope, that's off of Sadler. I like this freshman a lot, Sadler.
Yeah, she's really good at finding the inside of that defense and getting there. And Jody Wynn says that she's naturally quiet by nature, and she says, I'm naturally passionate, and so she wants, as a point guard, for her to be more vocal, and this is a process for so many freshmen when you have to be the leader of the team, not because you're older or more experienced, but because you play that point guard and you're the coach on the floor.
Extra pass, you love it from Meisel to Sedona Prince. All started with another offensive rebound by the Ducks. Giomi.
And the one thing about Sedona Prince is that when she gets a good pass, she lets that guard know it. She wants it again. She points, she says thank you. Very emotional with her teammates when they feed her the ball.
Good job by Lowry to disrupt that fast break. Here
it is. The offensive boards, the teamwork, Mikesell unselfish, finding her 6'7" post on the inside, and that makes for a happy post play.
You betcha. Maddie Shear back on the floor for the Oregon Ducks.
And the trend continuing for the Ducks. 16 assists on 21 makes.
Reese wanted it off her hands. And here's where I want to put a little spotlight on Mikesell. Last couple of games she doesn't start. Very cold from beyond the arc. And yet, on that last play, you show why she's such a professional, if you will. She makes that great extra pass and assist, doesn't pout, finds the open player, just keeps grinding. Shear, triple.
Taylor Mikesell 0 for 7 from 3 in this game, which, I mean, it's almost, you know, for her, like, what is going on? She's one of the best three-point shooters in the nation, no question about it. Kelly Graves has talked about the shooting drills that he has put together, and he's had some great ones from Lexi Bando to Sabrina Ionescu, Maite Cazorla. The three-point shooters in this program go on and on and on, and they've been in the top 5 nationally in three-point shooting for 5 years in a row. He thinks Mikesell and Boley, Parrish, they could be the best combination he's ever had from the three-point line. They haven't quite clicked in yet, but Mikesell 0 for 7 in this game. You know what? You better believe she's going to take number 8 if she's open.
You bet. Sadler, by the way, picked up that foul her first moments ago as Van Dyke off the glass, no good. Shear comes up with it and is fouled from behind. Giomi hustles over to help her out, as does Mikesell. Lowry got her first.
For the Ducks.
And more free throws for the Oregon Ducks. Noble back in with the 3 fouls. And here's Shear, freshman out of Kentucky.
Good to see her able to go today. She played just 3 minutes on Friday against Washington State, bothered by an ankle injury. Did not practice during the week and was listed as questionable today. And with some of the depth issues, no Erin Boley due to a back issue. She's over there wearing a belt on the bench right now. Sabally with the ankle, and also dealing with no Kylie Watson with concussion protocol. It's good to see her able to provide some minutes for the Ducks.
Reese squares up. Steps back, blocked by Giomi. Reese, Giomi, battling. Jump ball, possession arrow favoring the Ducks. And I got to tell you, Elise, it's still weird to see Erin Boley over there on the bench. For the first time in 85 games, does not start. Can't play because of the back. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, and she hasn't been shooting the ball the way we know Erin Boley can over the last 5 games, just 2 of 12. And you wonder, is something bothering her? She got tweaked. Well, her back getting a rest today, and hopefully she is back and ready to go, because such an amazing shooter, and Oregon needs her. They will be on the road at the Mountains coming up, at Utah, at Colorado next weekend. Hopefully she's able to go by then.
Speaking of the Mountains, Utah going to Tempe and upsetting receiving votes Arizona State by a bunch, and that will be the Oregon Ducks' next opponent, and then Colorado. While Washington will get that game that was postponed against Oregon State. That'll be coming up in a couple of days in Corvallis.
And Utah 65-51 taking out the Sun Devils. So
wow.
A big win for Lynn Roberts and that crew, and a 1-point game in Corvallis right now to start the 4th. The Cougars are up by 1.
Oh boy. Washington State feeling like they left some points on the floor against this defensive-minded Ducks on Friday, trying to get well against Oregon State.
And I like that move by Sattler. She couldn't finish. You see a little frustration on her face. That's a good move right here. Just get split in the defense. 6'7" Prince coming out to distract just enough. Maybe get a little piece of it, and that left the offensive glass open for Haley Van Dyke.
I like to take two, Elise. Parrish with that foul, by the way, as Van Dyke tried to get the offensive rebound to go. What a different team this Washington club is with Van Dyke on the floor. And even though she's a bit under the weather as she hits double figures, they're just a different club with the veteran playing.
Well, she was number 2 in the Pac-12 in steals last year and was the Huskies' best rebounder. And again, leading the Huskies in steals and rebounds, even though she's just 6 feet. She's athletic, and really she gets a lot of energy and offensive production due to her defense. And she got free throws there off the offensive board. So she's a player that other teams have to account for wherever she is.
We're getting long in the tooth as far as this third quarter is concerned. Buck 10 left to go. 52-34. Game solidly in the hands of the Oregon Ducks. 7 on the shot clock now for Parrish. She wants that pick. Will go the other way. Shear flips it back. Good read. Parrish to beat the shot clock, front running off. And here comes Noble. Throws it right into the hands of Pau Pau.
Pau Pau with the anticipation. She read that to perfection, cut the angle down, got the steal. Pau Pau was really scoring at a high level to start Pac-12 play. Her shot has been rimming out recently, but 10 points today for the freshman to go along with 4 assists. Shear gets hammered, ball knocked away. Look at Sadler, wrap around Van Dyke into the tall trees. She'll find Grigsby, and that's a good stick by Grigsby. Good ball movement, recognition by Van Dyke. The behind-the-back dribble by Sadler was so tight. Most of the time it takes a second. That was awesome. They're moving quickly, and with Pau Pau there ready to swipe it, but Sadler kicks it to Van Dyke, who makes a good decision not to force it, and they get an open 3 from Grigsby. One of the better plays of the afternoon for the Washington Huskies, and starting with the ball control by Tamia Sadler, the true freshman who is their leading scorer.
Van Dyke, so unselfish and heady. Sadler getting that thing going. And good D by the Washington Huskies. 5-second violation. The bench is up. I just love the energy level from the Huskies.
They had really good energy coming out of that timeout. 28 seconds to go in this quarter. Still within striking distance at 15, although they got to start doing some work defensively if that's going to happen.
Noble had a little room. Instead, perhaps Washington just content to play out this quarter as the shot clock is off. Game clock now standing at 16. Here's Van Dyke. Reese pushes off Chavez, nothing called. Throws it away. Parrish, Oregon's got plenty of time. Parrish behind the back. Pau Pau inside. Prince has got it even. Not there.
And that is one Pau Pau has to take. There was not enough time to get that inside to Sedona Prince. Want to be unselfish, but you got to call your own. Fourth quarter against Washington State did come back in, which was good news, and you thought she was able to walk it off, except that's what happened to Sedona Prince, and then she missed significant time. Those ankles can be tricky with when they swell up, and being 6'5" and 6'7", it's tricky to get that ankle back to full strength. And you certainly hope by the time that happens, Erin Boley with their back and Kylie Watson with that concussion, because Utah just getting a big win over Arizona State, and they're cooking. And you know what Colorado did against Stanford, so it's a dangerous road trip to the mountains.
Haley Van Dyke just willed that three-point bucket from Darcy Reese. Reese misses the first opportunity. Van Dyke goes in against everybody wearing white, grabs the carom, and then Reese hits the next triple. That's beautiful.
And now Reese should be in double figures. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, she's got 10. Pau Pau, three-pointer. Ball coming loose on the floor. Everybody, it looked like Chavez knocked the ball out of bounds. Van Dyke with the 11 points, 6 rebounds. and has been a monster on the offensive glass. 63-47. Turnover. Shear, and again, it's Giomi running the floor. Kind of a little excuse me pick for Shear, but it didn't work. Quay Miller with the triple. Wow. Now, she'll shoot that on occasion, but you often want to say, well, we'll let her have it until she proves us wrong.
Well, she has been battling against Oregon, and she's at a size disadvantage against, she's just 6'3", and normally that's pretty good size, but not against this Oregon team, and she's had her shot blocked, and she's had some struggles scoring, so that's her first make of the game, but everybody knows in COVID we've all been in these situations where your life has been changed, but they understand that. These are some of the best athletes in the nation and forced to just kind of sit in their room for 10 days. And they are back, and they're healthy, and they're playing basketball, and they played hard today. With 2 minutes to go down by 13, they got time to make a little run.
Van Dyke, sloppy pass by Chavez, and Van Dyke flies in for the deuce. She's got 13. 8-0 run, if I'm not mistaken. Now, you're going to back me up on this, I hope.
An 11-0 run.
Okay. You just got to correct me, don't you? For the good of the game. For the good of the game, you got to correct me.
To keep you honest, lady.
Oh, boy.
Big shot by Prince,
You're
though,
not
to
kidding.
extend that, because it did break that long Husky scoring run. And within a minute and a half to go, the Ducks should be safe.
All right, Prince, where are we with her career high, Elise?
She is one short of tying her career high.
Okay. But 20 left to go in this thing.
And she has tied her career high in rebounds. And you just knew it was going to be coming. She just hasn't played a lot of minutes.
Miller challenges the cutting Dugalich. Quay picks up her second Dugalich to the line.
And I think Dugalich with another really good performance. The first start of her career coming in game 14, and she's playing behind and beside some of the best post players in the nation. With Niara Sabali unable to go, she's able to be inserted in that starting lineup. And we've talked about how much this coaching staff in practice sees what she's capable of. And she's trained with the Serbian national team for the past 2 summers. And you can really see the maturity in her game as she knocks in the 2 free throws. Really good touch, and her rebounds per minute, Dugalich, pretty staggering. She's the 3rd leading rebounder on this Oregon team, and she only averages 12 minutes a game. So if you extended it out, if she was playing 40 minutes, Dugalich would be averaging like 16 boards a game.
Dang.
But in her role, obviously, on this really deep team, that's not going to happen.
Quay aggressively putting that ball on the floor. There's another jump ball. And it'll belong to the Oregon Ducks. Should mention, as if there's any doubt, Washington State in another overtime game. Oregon State, Washington State heading to overtime. Wow. For the 4th time in 5 games, the Cougars will be going into OT.
They are 1-2 in those overtime games. Beat top 10 Arizona and then lost at SC and at UCLA. Now they're playing at Gill.
Gee whiz.
Oh, the Pac-12 just is so good.
Reese will take a seat. She finishes with 10 points. Under a minute to go in this thing.
If you're a coach in this league,
Yeah.
your stress level is just...
Oh,
There's no game that you can say,
Nope.
all right, today we can take it easy.
not a single game. Ask Stanford when Colorado played them, right?
Absolutely.
Good
No.
inside look. How about Prince finding Dugalich? And you see why Kelly Graves is so high on Prince's passing ability.
Well, at 6'7", she can see over the top of you. That time she flipped it around. This really elite skill set for her size.
Van Dyke. So Pau Pau will just walk it up.
5 Oregon Ducks players in double figures today. And this is the way they've been rolling. They don't have anybody averaging 20. They don't have any score in the top 20 in the Pac-12. But it is a true team.
What do you make of this win for the Ducks? I mean, they flourished all 4 quarters.
Well, we're finding out what this Oregon team can do well and who